As the video of passengers evacuating the Air China plane, the one that prompted an emergency landing at Changi Airport on Sunday, made its rounds online, one man caught the eye of netizens because he was going down the emergency slide with his luggage. While Air China has said passengers had only minor injuries during evacuation, experts say that poor behaviour, like bringing along luggage during aircraft emergencies, can be potentially dangerous. You would have heard the part in the pre-departure safety briefing when the crew reminds us passengers that in the event of emergency evacuation, you leave your things behind. Why is this important? And what other do's and don'ts should we keep in mind? Well, let's get to the point with Gary Ho, a senior lecturer in aviation management. Gary, I suppose it's only natural that we want to take our belongings, especially the expensive ones, with us during evacuation. But why shouldn't we do it? Why is it dangerous?
Okay, I actually saw the video and I saw the passenger that you're referring to with his suitcase evacuating from the slide. And I was truly appalled that in this day and age that people still try to do that. Now, few things why we don't encourage you to take your baggage when you are trying to evacuate in an emergency. Firstly, by wasting the time to actually open the overhead cabin, the cabin locker, to get your bags, you're actually wasting valuable time. And you are holding back other people behind you. Now, when you take the bag, you risk tearing the slide. And if the slide is torn, then other people cannot use that slide. So we are down by one exit. Now, if the bag flies down the slide, it could also injure a lot of people. So there are plenty of reasons why you should never take your bags. Put it this way, you can replace everything, but you cannot replace your life. So life should be a priority, not items.
Any other don'ts we should keep in mind?
You shouldn't do during an emergency would be to hang around the aircraft vicinity once you have gotten off the slide, because some people may fly off the slide really quickly and you may get injured, or the aircraft situation, the emergency situation may get more serious. So you want to, get away from the aircraft as fast as possible.
It's important, of course, to listen to the crew's instructions in an emergency. Gary, what other do's should we adhere to?
When it comes to emergency landing, always listen to what the crew tell you. Okay, they are there for your safety. Now, a lot of people tend to think that cabin crew are there as their waiters in the sky. But if you look at history, cabin crew actually started off as nurses. And so every single crew on board the aircraft actually is well trained to get you out of the plane and safely, in cases of an emergency, so that your chances of survival are very high. If you're wearing high heel shoes or any kind of shoes which could likely puncture the slide, you should take them off. When I travel in an aircraft, I would wear flat-bottomed shoes so that it's easy for you to keep your shoes on, because in an emergency there will be hot debris usually around the aircraft, and you want your feet to be protected. I will still pay attention to the safety briefing and I'll still take a look at the safety card, even though I've flown in that aircraft gazillion times. Why? Because you want that familiarity so that in case of an emergency, your mind already has thought about it and you know what you are supposed to do. You need to count the number of seats before you get to an exit so that in case there's really a lot of smoke, like in this case, there was smoke, and you cannot see the exit, you would be able to count the seats and know where the exit is. One thing I like to emphasize is, for those of you who like to sit in the emergency exit row, now, please note that when you sit in that row, you have a legal responsibility to help the crew to evacuate passengers during an emergency. So if for any reason you're not feeling well or you are not 100%, informed, then you should not actually sit in the emergency exit row. I know a lot of people want to sit in that seat because there's extra leg room, right? But if an emergency does occur and you are, for example, your hand is injured or your leg is injured, you would be more of an impedance than of help.